Namaskaram, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of viewers worldwide. I'm Subhashri, accompanied by Mrs. Raji. We welcome you all to Sambash discussion series. Before we dive into today's topic, I would like to brief what Sambash is. Sambash is an open community of like-minded Indians from different spheres of life, from IT to accounting, from students to professors to retired seniors living across Europe. We come together to discuss the real Indian cash, culture, art, societal issues, and history. We help our followers develop a better understanding of Indian culture. Today's topic is on arts, Carnatic music. Carnatic music has a rich history and tradition and is one of the gems of world music. It owes its name to the Sanskrit term Karnataka Sangeetam, which denotes traditional or codified music. Music has no boundaries, and it will continue to remain an ocean of knowledge that each one of us will be a student forever. The world pandemic in 2020 has caused many waves to pause, but not the teaching and learning. Though the traditional classroom classes or face to face lessons were deemed the best teaching methods, this pandemic has made us realize that remote learning or distant learning can also be effective. We have with us today a special guest who is a professional Carnatic singer and a teacher for hundreds of students world over. Smt Uma Ramakrishnan, welcome to the show.
Namaste, namaskaram. Thank you, Shubhashri, and thank you, Sambash, for inviting me for this show.
I now request Mrs. Raji to give a brief introduction about our guest of the day. Raji, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself, please? I think we have some technical difficulties there. I will go ahead with the guest introduction while Raji comes back. Uma Ramakrishnan hails from a family rich in classical music. The tradition of bhajan sampradaya runs in her family, starting from her grandfather Bhagavata Tilakam, late P.R. Shankara Iyer. Uma started learning Carnatic music from her aunt at the age of 7. She had the opportunity to learn further from Sangeeta Kala Ratna, Kerala maestros Srimati Jayalakshmi Srinivasan and Chitraveena P. Ganesh. Uma is currently under the guidance of Dr. Sriram Parsuram. Uma has also acquired knowledge in Laya aspects from her guru, Sri Manar Koel J. Balaji. Though Uma is an internationally certified travel consultant, she left the glamorous profession to pursue her passion. Uma has been performing classical and devotional concerts from the age of 16 in various prestigious venues in Chennai, Coimbatore, Bangalore, and Kerala. She was living in Brussels, Belgium from the year 2016, where she had been propagating Carnatic music through her performances and workshops under the support of Indiraga Belgium, the Indian Culture Center Brussels, and India Education Center Brussels. Once again, Umaji, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Shubhashri.
We will dive into our questions that we have, Umaji, and being this topic, especially on virtual learning, I would start my first question. And I am a virtual student myself, and I've tried many applications for video lessons, video classes like WhatsApp, Zoom, Skype, and Google Meet. And in any of these, there is always a lag in the video. A normal conversation can happen like this when one person talks and another person talks. But during a singing lesson, singing along with the guru is very important to capture the right notes and swarasthanams. So, how do you think you are dealing with this shortcoming in your classes?
Yes, in today's world, we go online for everything, right from work to shopping And now music learning has also become online, and even concerts have become online. So everything is online now. So being online is integral to our lives now. So when it comes to learning music on some online platform, like as you said, there are many platforms available like Skype, Google Meet, or Botim, or many apps. So there is always a problem of the time lag. So it's never possible to sing along with the guru. So that is impossible, and that's ruled out. So what we can do is, we can once you repeat the lesson after the guru, you sing the phrases, you repeat the phrases after the guru. One thing you can do is, you can ask your guru to sing the song, and you can mute yourself and try singing along. So that is one option, so that you get a feel of the song, and the mood of the song, the bhava, you can give the bhava. And in addition to that, it is also important that we can ask the guru to send a separate recording, audio recording of the same song, so that you can play it and sing along. So you get a full feel of the song with the tala. So an important thing in this online platform learning is the problem with tala. So since there is a time lag, so it's difficult to pick up the tala for the student. The tala is, it's like every millisecond matters when it comes to tala. So while singing, probably here and there we can drag or cut short, but tala is not like that. Thala, the layam has to be, it's there in every moment. So every millisecond, every matra matters a lot. So to solve this problem, as of now, we don't have any thing available online to sync the things, sync the both the singers' voices. So what you can do is, the only option right now available is to ask the guru for a recording, play it and sing along with that at your home, practice well, so that when you return to the next class, you can probably check with your guru that whether you are going wrong. And in addition to that, to counter this problem, you can use a metronome while singing, so that it controls your tala, it controls your speed. So every second you don't miss, every second or half a beat also you don't miss. So that is one option to counter such problems which we come across online while learning online.
Thank you, Ma. I think the fact that we can go on mute and practice ourselves is one point that we've never thought about it, and thanks for that tip. The next question is aligning to the same context, that singing along is difficult. How do you think, or how do you manage your virtual classes when there are a group of people singing and when they're connecting from different locations?
Yes. So now everybody is at home, even in the same city, we are not able to commute. So we have no other option. Just for group classes or some group sessions, we have to do a group session online. So what we can do is the same thing. That is, one option is the guru can call out one person to repeat the phrase, while the others are on mute and they can sing along. That is one option. That is to get a feel of the song. You can do that. So otherwise, group sessions will be like, you can choose one participant every time to repeat the phrases. So the guru will be, while we teach, we'll call out one person, every person to repeat one phrase. Then we go to the next person, we call out the next person to repeat. So turn by turns, you can call the students to repeat. So again, the singing together doesn't work on this group session also. So again, the same process, and we can share a recording so that the student will understand better of their song. So that's the only possible option now.
Okay, thank you. And we have Raji back with us. Raji, do you
Namaste.
want to go ahead with the next question?
Sorry. Yes, thank you, Ma. My next question is, on an average, most studies say that an effective attention span of a person can be 20 minutes. Do you think this can be longer or shorter in virtual classes?
Okay, that's a valid point. Yeah, and in today's world, again, we have uh, it's a fast world. So everybody is in a hurry, hurry, hurry. Especially the kids, where they want to learn quickly, fast, and just repeat it a couple of times and they want to get it. But that's not possible in when it comes to classical music. You need much more patience. So there are ways to improve the focus and attention span, the time span. So one thing is that it's like you practice music just like doing a meditation. So the regular practice routine should be something like you should focus on more of the Shruti practice, like you practice the Sa, the Adhar Shadjam, only the Sa for a few minutes. So that itself is like a meditation. So you go on practicing for 5 minutes. If you can do 5 minutes, then go for 10 minutes. So it's all in the mind. So if you want to do that with determination that you want to practice it for 1 hour, only the Sa, fine, you can do it. There is nothing that you cannot do it. So when it comes to online learning, the problem is, our Indian classical music is all about sound. It's not about vision. It's about sound. So it's usually the traditional way of learning. We have the guru and shishya sitting face to face each other, and there is more than a vision. There is a vibration, and there is a rapport which is built between the guru and the shishya. So probably on an online platform, that the building a rapport, it's much more difficult. So that will affect the students' focus. So one option I try to maintain the focus of the students is to make them do interesting exercises. Like we have so many voice exercise, laya exercise, we have so many of them. So we can suggest few and ask them to develop some of their own. Like we give example, so you can use that example and develop something on their own. For example, if I give a basic Sarali Verse, I ask them to sing in Kalyani Raga. Then I asked them, why don't you switch the raga? Try the Arohana, that is the ascending scale in Kalyani. Suddenly, why don't you switch to some other raga? So that develops the creativity, and the student is more focused on the music than getting distracted to the other things, what is happening around. That's what usually I do. One suggestion from my side. That is one suggestion. Yeah.
I'll try to implement your tips. Thank you. And my next question is also similar, related to my previous question. What are the tips to maintain the focus during singing class when the teacher is not physically present? When we compare with academic learning, learners will have more opportunities to have activity based learning. So, how is it applicable while learning music?
Okay, so yeah, this is somewhat related to what I told before itself. That is, make the classes more interesting by giving more of creative exercises. See, we have two aspects in classical music learning. One is we have the songs or the lessons which are preset. So those has to be taught and learned as it is. You can't change anything in that. So that is Kalpita Sangeetam. It is already set. And there is your kalpana, your manodharmam, that is more into the creativity side. So there, when you start doing the work, start working on the creativity, so your mind, your brain is more focused, so that there is no room for distraction. So like if I give select a raga, just like that, select Pantuvarali and just practice the patterns in that. So what are these patterns? So immediately the brain has to work like that. So we have patterns of 2 swaras, patterns of 3 swaras, patterns of 4 swaras. So once you are done with that, you can even switch. You take up with the pattern of 3 and switch to 5, switch to 7. That's up to you. So you don't know what you are going to sing. So what I mean is the brain is occupied in that way. So we stay focused, and the creativity also develops. So that is one. This is just an example. There are many types of exercise, like stai exercises, this to develop the voice range. So using these exercises are just a tool. So using these things, we can make the class interesting, and you can make your practice session also interesting. Even if whether the guru is there online or whether the guru is near you or you are alone practicing, still you can make use of these techniques to develop creativity and maintain focus. So at a stage, you will realize that you will spend hours just doing these exercises. It has happened many times. So it's not boring and it's interesting, and the focus, even the focus improves after doing such exercises. Even with laya exercises, it is more effective, that like you use a metronome to say the jati, the sollu, and practice the takadimi, takajundu. So that is more of concentration and focus, because it's the time, that moment, that is it is, what do you say, it's every moment is there, you cannot skip any second, so you have to go through every second. So that needs lot of focus and lot of concentration. Unless the student is into that 100%, gives 100% into that, so it doesn't work. So in that way, you train yourself, you train your students, so that the class is interesting, or they're always occupied, they don't get to think anything else other than music. So we should make use of these tools to make the class interesting, or even if we are practicing by ourselves, to make our practice session interesting for ourselves, we should do such things. We can use these tools. That's what I recommend.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so make it interesting so that brain automatically falls into more practice. So that's thank you so much. And my next question is, do you think online classes are a burden for the participants, teachers, or parents?
Burden, I don't think so, because if music is interesting, and people who are really interested in music, of course anybody would be interested in learning or listening. So I don't think it's a burden, but there are few problems which we come across because of the technical snacks, and maybe the connectivity issues or such things. So such things may hinder the process of teaching and process of learning as well, but I don't think it is a burden in any ways.
Thank you, Maji. And when we ask it's a burden, there are some pros and cons. That's the point. But there are definitely a lot of pros as well in having distance classes, because we are able to connect irrespective of the distance. You have students world over, and that's possible because of these virtual classes. But I wanted to ask this question, that when the pandemic is gone, and assuming we go back to the old normal, given a choice, if you have a student who can attend a person face-to-face class and also is willing to take up an online class, which one do you think you would prefer?
Well, I would always prefer for a face-to-face class than learning or teaching online, because the feel which we get on from a face-to-face class from the guru and from the shishya. Sometimes shishyas very pick up very well, and they give their own ideas on the spot in the class itself. So that it's like, actually, even though you are a guru, still you get new ideas from your shishya also. Sometimes surprise it is. It just comes. So such things happen on a live session, like face-to-face session, more often than the online platforms. So I would always prefer live classes. Yeah.
That's great, Uma. And yeah, every musician is a student forever, like I said earlier. Uh, in spite of this being a session on virtual learning, I would like to take this opportunity to know from you about some musical aspects that you have experienced. Um, we know that you have great knowledge on Laya from your Guru Sri Manar Koel J. Balaji. Can you enlighten us on what Laya is and how important it is for a beginner to practice singing or play an instrument with Laya?
Okay, so basically, if you ask me what laya is something which, it is what lies between the space between two, if we have a rhythm and there is a space in between the rhythm, that there lies the laya. So it's basically it's the time. So if we have a tala, like it's going like this, it's going equi timed. So the time gap between every beat is equal. So that gap is called layer. So that should be consistent. So you can have 1 second gap between the first and second beat to the second to third beat, third to fourth beat, like that, go on like that. So it's consistent and it cannot be changed. So the consistency of your rhythm, that is called the laya. So now to develop the laya, what you can do is it requires a lot of effort and a lot of focus and concentration to improve laya. So I have experienced that myself from my guru Sri Balaji sir. He's such a great and wonderful guru. Like he used to train me since after learning and singing for performing for so many years. I realized what is laya. That is the funniest part. So I didn't realize that laya. I knew laya, what is laya, but I didn't knew that it is so important when it comes to singing. So I would always tell my students, our music is like it's like a train and the railway track. So where the train is your song or the music, and the track is the laya. So it's inseparable. So laya is equally important as singing, as the Shruti or Swarastanam. You know, you should gain equal importance in equal knowledge in laya also. So I was very fortunate to come into the studentship of Sri Balaji sir. So he introduced me to the laya aspects, various laya exercises, and much more aspects like different tala patterns. Why is it important to learn laya right from the beginning? Whenever you start learning, like right from the sarali varshe, there is laya involved because tala is already there. So it is, sir was like, sir told me, like even if you sing the sarali varshe in perfect laya, it will sound in a different way than singing in an inconsistent speed. When you sing with a perfect laya, it will sound different. Just a basic janta varshe or the basics what we have, alankaras. So in that way, laya has to be, in my opinion, laya has to be incorporated right from the beginning of the training for any student, any music students. So Balaji sir was very much eager to teach me all this, and he was very much patient to teach me all this because I was already in a performing level. So I am like going back to the scratch. Like I was in a level and I'm coming back to the pre-KG to learn the laya. So experience was like that for me. But he was very much patient enough to wait for me to get it, and that worked real magic actually. So I'm so grateful to Balaji sir for training me like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Ma. And when you said we need complete focus while we are practicing Laya, I think music is one of the best ways of meditating. It keeps you concentrated completely, and you can't skip your mind for a second also. Then we would go wrong with the talam or the swarasthanam. So uh, the next question is, uh, we know that you started learning Carnatic music at the age of 7. Um, and in these days, especially in this current decade, we see budding young talents, and parents are pushing their limits to start a professional training for their children and to keep up with the pace so that they start looking for professional Carnatic classes even from the age of 3 or 4 years of a kid. Do you think it's too early, or what do you think is the right age for a student to start learning Carnatic music?
Mhm. Yeah, there is, I would say there is no particular age that you can start like that. It depends on the child. Few children, they pick up right from the age of 3 or 4. So, so what I suggest is the parents should not force the children to get into professional training and get to perform. No, they should just observe the skills of the child and give it the time. There are few students where they start very slow. They start at the age of 10, and they might be picking up very slow, but after a certain stage they might just shoot up the skills, and just it just happens. So it's best that your parents should not force any kids to learn right from the age of 3 or 4. So it's better that they wait. If the child shows interest, then they can probably put them to the guru for training. And for me, since ours was a musical family, so we all started singing even before we started learning music. So for me it happened like I started singing, and it was sounding good, and okay, my parents were like, okay, she sings well, so we should professionally train her. That was it. That was like it was happened like that. So I was not forced to singing, and I used to like singing, so I was put to professional training. It was like that. So so that's what I mean. So it all depends on the child. Few kids, they start singing at the age of 3. If they are enjoying it, well, let them learn it professionally. But you should never force any child to learn music at any point of time. Yeah.
Definitely. It was a very personal question for me because my daughter, who's just 2 years old, she already sings sa pa sa with me, and I'm confused when should I start a professional training for her. And I think I will go with the flow of her interest. And we lost Raji because of some technical difficulties, and I have with me Subbu here uh, as a co-host. Welcome, Subbu.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, we have been losing Raji for some reason. I think there is a technical issue. Namaskar, Umaji. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a very interesting question now. So, what is your opinion about this voice training and voice culture? Is it today or in the modern teaching methodology that is giving a lot of stress in this voice training, or did we have these trainings even in the past, as a traditional parampara? So how effective and useful are these voice training classes?
Okay, the voice training, voice culture, voice therapy are the things which we are coming across very recently, I would say. But you know something, like our Indian classical music tradition, it has everything in its own. It's a total package. So we need to explore, and there are all tools are available in itself. So we need to explore, and we need to identify and understand how to use these tools. So the point is just learning some varishas, Geetam, Kriti, Varnam, Kriti, yeah, Ragam, Tana, Pallavi. That is not about music. So the first step of singing is to develop the voice skills. So, what are the best aspects of singing? Like how to maintain your voice? What is the best way to treat your voice? And many things like anything related to your vocal cords, the muscles around it. So, in our system, in our Carnatic music system, we have the Varishas, which are the first lessons taught to any student in music. So, we have Sarali Varsha, Janta Varsha, Sthayi Varishas, then Dhatu Varishas, and Alankaras. These set of Varishas. So, what happens is we learn this and we just leave it, and that page is closed, and we just move on to varnams or kritis. Yeah, we learn 100 kritis, 500 kritis, 1000 kritis. Yeah, just go on. I know all 72 melakatta raga kritis. No, that doesn't make sense. The first step is to sing well. How well you can sing. So it's all about, as I said before, it's all about sound. Our music is all about sound. So the first step is, please do not use a book for learning. That is the first step. So what happens is, when you use a book, the kids are taught using books nowadays, or some notations. What happens is, you focus on it's based on the vision that you are learning. So the eyes are working there, and your sound, you are not focusing on your listening skills. So the first step is listening skills. So what happens is, first, you go to a guru, listen to the Shruti. That Shruti should get absorbed to yourself, so that when you sing, it is exactly the Shruti that you sing. So that is the first step. First thing is, listening skills has to be developed. Then you reproduce it. So it's all about the sound. Now, the basics, coming to the basics. The basic things, like for example, Sarali Varsha we have. That is the first lesson what we learn. In my opinion, that Sarali Varsha, it's an exercise tool. It can be used as an exercise tool. So we have 72 Melakarta ragas in Carnatic music. Everybody knows that. So also you have a table which says which re, which ga, which ma, everything. You know the swarasthanas also. So probably if you have a keyboard or a veena or a violin or flute, you can, if you have an instrument, I mean, it's even easier to find out the tones of these every note. Like you have Shad Shruti Rishabham, Shad Shruti Rishabham, Shuddha Rishabham. You can differentiate it using an instrument better. If you're too good in it, then you can differentiate it by sound right from the beginning. For you to come to that stage, first you use an instrument probably, or you can take the help of your guru. So it's all about, there are three types of Rishabha. How do you differentiate it? If you see the book, it's not possible to different. We'll write Re 1, Re 2, Re 3. But what is Re 1? There is no words or sign language to express that Re 1. It's all about sound. So this happens only through these basics, which is Saralivarsha or Jantavarsha or Alankara. So for example, today I am choosing Raga Kharahara Priya. So I practice the Arohana 10 to 15 times. I am okay with the Swarasthana. I know the Swarasthanas. Now I move on to the Sarali Varsha. I convert the whole Sarali Varsha, which is in Maya Malagola, to Kharagrapriya. So practice the Sarali Varshas in Kharagrapriya. First practice it in a slow speed, then make it a bit faster. Push till you can't do it. Keep pushing till then you do akaram for the same, then you do ikaram for the same, makaram, ukaram, everything. You are done with it. So your swarasthanas are, the positions of the swarasthanas are perfectly set after the sarali varshas. That is why we have sarali varshas. If you observe the sarali varshas closely, you will understand. The first one is Sari 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 gamma sari gamma padani sa ni dhapa magari sa. Second, so first one focus on sari 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 gamma. You are going to re and coming back, so that you are singing re few more times, so that it registers in your mind. The next parisha is Sariga Sariga. So Ga is registered. Going further, Ma, Sarigama Sarigama. So Ma is registered. Like that, it is step by step. It's a very scientific way of setting Sarli Varishas, which has been done in our system. So I am asking you, why don't you use this to practice all 72 Melakartas? If you can practice all 72 Melakartas in all these Sarali Varshai, also Alankara. The purpose of Alankaras is to improve the flow. So you have Sariga Magari Sarigari Sariga Marega Mapa Magarega Magarega Mapa Gama Pada Pama Gama Pama Gama Pada. So this improves the flow, free flow of your voice through the perfect, and you get precision of the Swarasanas also. Later, when you come to Janta Varises, you have sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma pa pa da da ni ni sa sa. This is to purpose of Janta Varsha is to improve the voice power. So when you deliver it with a powerful voice. So it is to develop the power. And the stai exercise, that is to develop the range from the mantra stai pa to the tara stai pa, panchama. So that 2.5 octaves, you can even explore more. Depends on the person. Every individual is different. So that is how you have to use these varishas as a tool. So this is what is happening in the voice culture. And there are akara, ukara, ikara, makara, which is nothing. What they are doing in the voice culturing or what voice therapy, which is already present in our system. Akara is always a. So you cannot make it as like a or the accent. So doing akara exercise for alankara or sarli varsha will help you to maintain your voice akaram as a. So open voice. And ikaram, e. So e should always be e. E should not become e. E is always e. So you maintain the voice, the accent through these voice exercises. So everything is already present in our system. We should use it wisely to get the benefit from that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is brilliantly detailed explanation, Umaji. So I have a question in line to what you just told about identifying these different rishabhams. Or okay, I'll tell my problem. I have a problem in identifying the madhyamam, shuddha madhyamam, pradimadhyamam. It's easier when you do it on an instrument, say for example flute or veena. But how do I apply it? How do one apply it in voice? Is it important? How shruti is important in that aspect? Should we maintain the same shruti for the instrument that we practice, and also use the same shruti when we sing, so that it helps us identify the swaras easily?
Yes. So as I said earlier, it's very important that you get the correct, precise swarasthanas. So if you have an instrument, it's better. So I didn't experience that because first initially since a very young age I was trained in vocal, so it just came to me. So but many people have the difficulty of precisely singing the different swarasthanas, like for Pratimadimam, Shuddhamadimam and all. So what you can do is, one best thing to do is use the instrument and try not to change the Shruti for at least a few years till you are well versed and you are so sure about the swarasthanas. So our swarasthanas are all, it's all frequencies related to the Adhara Sharja actually. So what happens is, you change the Shruti, which means you change the Shadja. So I am singing in Anjarakate, that is G sharp. That will, if I sing the Sari Shuddha Rishabha in this G sharp, it has a different frequency. When I sing it in A or A sharp, when you sing it in C or D, your Shruti, it will be different. So the voice has a difficulty in transition of the frequencies. So it's better to practice in the same Shruti. If you are using an instrument, take an instrument and fix your comfortable Shruti, and then you can practice comfortable Shruti in the sense which you can sing as well. So you can do both the instrument as well as singing. At least for a few years, you will have to do that till you come to a stage where you can sing all the notes, all the 16 notes in any Shruti. Till then you do the same, like use the same instrument, same Shruti of the instrument for singing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That was a very wonderful tip to use the same Shruti in your instrument as well as in your vocal. So we have an audience question here. Before we move on to the next question, it's from Kritika Iyer. How can parents who don't know music motivate their children? Do you recommend parents to learn basics at least?
Okay, that's a very nice question. Yeah, but it's not compulsory that the parents have to learn the basics and then teach. But if there is a good understanding of music, that's fine for the parents. But still, if you want the child to learn music professionally, yes, you can go ahead. Motivating the children is like, I don't think that if the parent doesn't know music, they have not professionally learned music, that will not affect the children's motivation. So if the child has very good interest in singing or learning, you can go for it. So it doesn't require that the parents have to compulsorily learn or understand. Even if I have come across students who have parents who they don't have any basic knowledge, but they like music, so they love it and they just want to learn. So that love and like will make your kids learn for sure. That will happen. So I don't think it is mandatory for parents to know music. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about the love for music and why it is important to simply learn music just because of your interest. So I know many of your students are watching the show, and we have called a Carnatic musician, and we haven't asked her to sing yet. So can you quickly do a kind of RTP? Not necessarily a full RTP. It might take a long time. Will maybe one of your favorite ragas. I would like to start with Amrita Vashni. Maybe sing a ragam in Amrita Vashni.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. Mm. Mm. Na 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 ah, na 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 ta na 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 ta na 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 na.
Lovely, brilliant.
Thank
I don't know how many are watching in Belgium. There are already dark clouds in Antwerp. Okay, okay. Next, maybe a Pallavi in Indolam.
Probably I'll sing another flash of raga itself.
Yeah, okay.
Probably. Mm, mm, na, 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 da, na, ra, na, ra, na, ri.
Wow, thank you so much, Umaji. We started with Amrutavashini. I know you have a school just named Amrutavashini. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, this was started in the year 2015 in Bangalore, where I live. So we started, as far as I came to teaching very recently, even though I was singing from a young age. Like I started teaching from around 2013. Yeah, 2013. So then it just grew, and we had this thought of starting like a school. So the idea is basically to teach and propagate authentic Carnatic music. So many times what happens is we teach, and the essence of the Carnatic music is lost many times. So my idea is mainly to make the students and people understand what originally Carnatic music is about. So how should we take it forward in the future? So that was the idea to start the school, and we named it Amritavashini because the music is, as you everyone know, like it is a vast ocean. It's a not a single ocean, I would say. It is a group of oceans, so many oceans. So I want the knowledge of music to be poured like a nectar. So that is why Amrita Varshini. The name of the raga is also Amrita Varshini, but the meaning says Amrita Varshini, Amrita Varshini. So it's like pouring of nectar. So the knowledge should also pour. Knowledge of music should also pour like nectar. So there is no limitations for teaching, for giving, and for learning also. So it should just pour. So that's why Amritavashni. Yeah, and then it just grew, and now I have more of online classes, even though I don't prefer online classes, but it just happened. But when it comes to online classes, I came to connect with most of you in Belgium, in many other parts of the world, like Singapore. I guess people are watching from Singapore, Hong Kong, and US, many places. UK. So I guess all are here. They are watching. So that's how it started, and it grew like that. So now we have worldwide students, and we have students in all levels, right from the beginner to intermediate to performers. And I also teach little bit of the Sampradaya Bhajan tradition, which I come from a family of Sampradaya Bhajan tradition. So I have given performances where my students themselves have accompanied for the bhajan concerts. So yeah, we have devotional singing groups, we have Tirupugar groups. So we have performed in few places Tirupugar bhajans, and Nama Sankirtanam we have performed. So like that, we are into all these traditional aspects, singing aspects of Carnatic music. Nama Sankirtanam is also very much connected to Carnatic music actually. Yeah. So we are into all this now.
Thank you, Uma. A huge respect and thanks from every one of us, because you're passing on this beautiful traditions to the next generation. Speaking about the ragas, this is an interesting question that we had, and we also have it from one of the audiences here. How do you think we can develop the skill of identifying a raga? Because the audience question is they've seen many elders identify a raga even without knowing the basics of music much, but they can identify the raga. But what are your tips that one can identify a raga, be it classical or a light music?
Yeah. So there are two methods to identify a raga. If you are a Carnatic music student, or if you know Carnatic music very well, you know the technical aspects of this music, like the swarasthanams, as I said, the different different gamma, all this different, all the 16 notes, you know. So you can, when there is a song, you listen to a tune, the swarasthanas will flash into your mind, and you identify, okay, this is this scale, okay, this is sarigama padnisa and shankaravarnam, you know, you can find out. That is one method. For a person who has not learned Carnatic music, or who has not at all explored the technical aspects of Carnatic music, it's difficult for them to understand the swarasthanas or the raga or the raga scales. For them, such people, even for a person who knows Carnatic music, also can use this method. And I would say this is a more ideal method. So this is like you relate to a similar song. You might have heard lots and lots of kacheri. So you have heard this song, Akshaya Linga Vibho. You know that is Shankaravarnam. Every artist has sang this song. So you listen to a movie song or just a raga alapana in Shankaravarnam, suddenly it will flash, okay, this tune relates to this song. So you know, okay, you listen to Amritavashni, na na sananda hridaya nilaye sadaye na, the similar tune. The similar phrases are used in the song as well as the raga alapana, or be it any movie song or devotional song or a bhajan or whatever. So that's how it works. Like, you pick up the phrase of the tune which you are listening to, try to relate it to a song which you have already heard and which you know which ragam it is. For example, this Amritavashni or Shankaravanam, or any song. You hear Panturali, you hear Kiravani. There are plenty of movie songs in Kiravani, and you listen to some that Tevaram Vanane in the Kiravani. So you can suddenly relate, okay, this mood is similar to this mood, so this is this ragam. That is how ideal way of identifying a raga.
That's great, Uma. In fact, yeah, my husband, who doesn't have a lot of training, when he hears a song, he'll immediately sing another song, and I would be surprised to tell him that this is the same raga. How did you find that? He's like, it just sounds the same to me. So I think it's more of a ear
Yes.
training and how they listen to various songs. The next
Yes.
question is from the audience, and in this technology era, many students consider likes and shares in Facebook as a measure of success. How can one motivate themselves to consider it as a stepping stone and not to lose focus?
Very important and relevant question in today's world. So I myself, I am also on Facebook. So I tell my students also, yeah, you can post on Facebook. Yeah, fine, it is okay. But that is not the that's not your milestone. So what you should focus is, it's the growth and the improvement, the learning. It's a constant thing. It has to be there till the end of your life. So since you get a like on Facebook, you get 100 likes on Facebook or your Instagram, doesn't mean that you are a good singer, you are perfect. Nobody is perfect. So please do not get distracted by all these uh, likes and shares and all. So what happens is, yes, you post on Facebook for a cause, fine, do it, but don't just go into that whether I got likes and whether I got shares, 100 shares, 1,000 shares. No, please don't do that. Just keep improving. Still you might be incomplete, and still keep improving till the end of your life. You keep improving and still you will be incomplete. So you have to realize that and still keep working and not get distracted by any appreciation, not even on the Facebook. Even if you are performing a concert, many people will come and tell you, you have such a beautiful voice, you are singing awesome, it's out of the world, blissful. Yes, yes, I take that, I respect all that, but still I know that I have to improve on many aspects. So the self realization is more important, and not to be got distracted by the likes or shares or appreciations which we get online or offline. Yeah.
Sure, Ma. I think one has to understand that, and I think an acknowledgement from Guru is what is very important than any other audience, maybe. The
Yeah,
next
to
question
add
is
on to
this is
that,
related to.
to add on to that, to acknowledgement of Guru, that that is something very rare. I have never in my life, I have never heard my Guru saying, "Nee romba nanna paadna." None of my gurus have told that to me ever. The first thing a dutiful and loving Guru would do is, they will point out the mistakes, every mistake what we do, and every unwanted gamakas or unwanted habits what we do. My all of my gurus, they treat me with so much of love, and they will tell me, "Uma, nee ipdi pannadhu nannave ille." They will tell me it's not at all good. They'll tell me frankly. So a guru will it's very hard to get a guru's appreciation. Sometimes they would say like, "Okay, today இன்னைக்கு ஒரு அளவுக்கு okay, பரவாயில்லை." That means somewhat okay for today, but still they are not satisfied. Guru is never satisfied. That will never happen. So that is the main thing. So I would say, instead of listening to somebody's appreciation, Rasika's appreciation, Rasikas are needed, of course. They are our backbone, but please do not take it for granted. If they appreciate, yes, we respect that, thanks for encouraging, but listen to your guru, because guru is the best critic that you can get. And a guru will
Sure.
always point out the mistakes with love. Yeah, so that is my message for everyone.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. The next question from audience is related to the question that I had asked earlier on when is the right age for a student or a kid to start learning. And this question is, how do you think kids can start basics at home? Should they start with bhajans or sarli verse? Any other suggestions, please?
Singing bhajans is okay, it's fine. It's more of bhakti, and it's all about the bhava. So basically I come from a bhajan family, so I learned singing even before I started singing in the in a professional way. So even before I learned the swarasthanas, I started singing songs in the bhajan, in the nama sankirtan tradition. So one aspect we should borrow from the bhajan is to absorb the feel of the song, the mood of the song, the bhava, and which will help us to for the presentation aspect. But when it comes to learning professionally, if you have an intention of you want to learn the music professionally with more technical precision, it's better to start with sarali varshes, so that when you learn the sarali varshes, the proper swarasthanams, the positions of the notes are set properly, precisely, and then you have a systematic approach. This can be implemented to bhajan singing or Carnatic singing or light music or playback singing or whatever. So it's, if you have the intention of learning or performing with more precision, it's better to start with sarali varshe. But if the child is already singing bhajans, don't stop them from singing bhajans. Let them sing, because they will absorb the bhava of the bhajan, bhava of the songs. That's what I feel.
Okay. Thank you, Ma. Uh, Next question is it's from Kritika, and she says kids have already started akaras, and do you recommend daily practice, and how long, in what sequence akaras, varisais, and kritis?
Yes. So daily practice for everyone, I would say, depends on your time. I know people are, kids are learning, they have academics, people are working, many things. So plan your practice. So you don't have to practice like 10 hours a day. It doesn't make sense. So you can do some intelligent planning. Like if you have 2 hours, you have 1 hour today. So what you do is choose the first 5 minutes for Shadja practice, that is only Sa. So when you sing the Sa, you make sure that it is in proper pitch and akaram also. So sing Sa, Sa. So try to sustain it 5 minutes. 5 minutes you can do sa practice. Then you move on to the next. Sarali Varshay. Choose one raga. Okay, fine, Maya Malagola. I know only Maya Malagola. Fine, Maya Malagola. Sing Sarali Varshays in 1, 2, 3 speeds. If possible, fourth speed. Then you practice Makara. Then you practice Akara. Makara is very difficult. If you can get Makara in the right way, Makara is not humming. So it should have more of voice presence. Like if you sing Sa, it should sound like there should be the echoing type, like they do the Brahmari exercise in the yoga, where they close the eyes and ears and there is a vibration. That kind of makara, that is makara actually. In that way, you should do makara. Then ikara is also important. Ukara is also good. So these things, why we do these four akaram, makaram, ikaram, ukaram, that will work inside your throat. When you sing the akara, your chin should be lower and the voice muscles are relaxed and it brings out the best voice, the tone is best. Then makara will give more power to your voice. Ukara is more rounded. Ikara is more stretching. So these kind of actions happen inside your throat, so it works on your voice very well. So as we said, discussed before, that is part of voice culturing, the voice therapy, what they do now professionally. It is there inside our system also. So make use of such things, like plan the practice like that. Then you have covered half an hour. Then revise 2 songs from your old lessons. Then you have another 15 20 minutes, 15 minutes left. Learn your new song. Done for the day. That should be the practice plan for everyone, I would say. If you don't have 1 hour, if you have half an hour, choose practice sa for 3 minutes. Practice one varishai and then go for the song. If you don't have time at all, you can spare 5 minutes. Practice only sa and go to sleep. 5 minutes you can spare. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
how.
The importance of Shajam. So every guru always say that keep your sa perfect before you try to do anything else. Thank you so much, Umaji. We have one last question from the audience. After that, we can close the show. It's from another Kritika. So classical music is different from modern music or other musical genre, as it needs active listening and understanding to appreciate. Is this a reason that current generation aren't much interested?
Um, interest is something personal. We can't force them. But of course, classical music, it needs lot of listening, lots and lots of listening. So in Tamil they say kelvi jnanam. That is the most important. Kelvi jnanam irundale ella vandidum. Means if you have the listening, very good listening of certain things, it will come to you naturally. So as I said earlier, it is all about the sound. So the sound, it takes a bit time than vision. Sound is slower than light. Light travels faster. So sound needs more time and patience. So that's what. So if you can develop the patience to listen, and so listening should be like part of daily life. And every day 1 hour you listen, even though you are working. I know you are working, you have assignment, homework, everything. Fine, do it, but let music be there. It will support for your work or your academics also. Even if you are listening to some kacheri online, you have everything you have at fingertips nowadays. You just keep play it and just keep doing your work, do your cooking or cleaning or drawing or assignment, whatever. So listening is very important when it comes to classical music. So unless you have a very good listening, it's difficult to appreciate music, because as we said, it's a vast ocean and there are so many things. And when it compared to other genres of music, especially movie songs, it is, I would say, that is like fast food. And classical music is like, what do you say, like we make idli at home. It's a long process involved. So we soak the rice and lentil, and then we grind it, ferment it. So it's a 12 to 24 hours day process. So it's like that. So it needs more of patience to appreciate classical music. So that's what, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Umaji. You've been so patient in answering so many questions. I know you are such a passionate singer, and you have been helping and grooming a bunch of students, hundreds of students under you. It's a great having you in our show. I think we have Raji back. I will add her again for the vote of thanks, and then maybe you can close the show with a bhajan. Raji, can you hear us?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Welcome
Yeah,
back
I'm
again.
sorry.
No
I'm
problem.
sorry. Thank you so much, Uma. I have been patiently listening all the talk. It was wonderful, and I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks to our special guest, Mrs. Uma, who, despite of her busy schedule, has found time to speak with us and share her music knowledge, including valuable tips on how to make effective music lessons online. I'm sure her feedback will be very useful to both teachers as well as students learning music online, especially in these COVID situations. Last but not least, I'm quite sure everyone would be eagerly waiting to listen a melodious song from Mrs. Uma. With years of singing, I'm sure you could be having a lot of your own compositions in hand. Can we please end the session with one of your favorite composition, please?
Yes, sure, we'll do that. Mm. Actually, one of my favorite raga is Amartavashni itself. So that is also one of the reason we named the school Amartavashni. So I would like to sing my favorite composition, my favorite raga, Amartavashni itself. Hmm. श्रीनन्दनादिसंरक्षिणी श्रीनन्दनादिसंरक्षिणी श्रीगुरुगुहजननी चिद्रूपिणि श्रीनन्दनादिसंरक्षिणी श्रीगुरुगुहजननी चिद्रूपिणि सानन्दहृदयनिलये सदये हे सानन्दहृदयनिलये सदये सत्यसुवृष्टिहेतवे त्वं सन्ततं चिन्तयेऽहमृतेश्वरि सलिलं वर्षय 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 सा ग म प नि स नि प म म ग ग सा नि प नि सा नि सा ग म प म ग सा ग म प नि स नि प म म ग ग सा नि सा नि प नि सा नि सा ग म प म ग सा ग म प ग म प नि सा ग सा नि प म म ग सा सा नि प म ग आनन्दामृतकर्षिणि अमृतवर्षिणि हरदि पूजिते शिवे भवानी आनन्दामृत कर्षिणि
Brilliant. Thank Thank you so much, Umaji. Thanks for your patience once again. Thank you, everyone. And just one last thing to the viewers. Next week is 15th of August. We have a very special guest in our show next week. Please do tune in, watch us every Saturday. Thank you so much, Umaji, once again.
Thank you, Sambash. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to all of you for watching. Thank you.